What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be building a wood-burning, self-feeding rocket stove. Now, this isn't really my design. I've seen other people make something just like this, but I'm going to show you how I made this one. Hopefully it'll help you build yours. Check it out. This is just your basic rocket stove design. You start with some kind of square tubing, in this case 5 inches by 5 inches. Then you use that same material for a 45-degree side inlet. So this is used for feeding your wood automatically, so as it burns off, more falls down into the chamber. And then underneath you use some sort of grating. And this prevents the wood from falling all the way through, but it still allows air to rush in to feed the fire. Pretty simple design. I think we have our profile figured out. So we have a 24-inch long pipe that we're going to be fabricating because we don't have any pipeline around. That's 5 inches wide. And then we have our inlet here. I don't know exactly how long it is, but it looks right. And then we're going to be installing the hinge here so the flap can lay down and then extend all the way out of the way while you're putting material in, or if you just want to leave it open. But I think we're ready to start cutting. So we got one profile fully cut out. I think everybody's happy with it. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna mark along that edge and then match cut the other one. So they're the same. And then we just have a little bit more work to do and we can start welding. Pretty exciting stuff. So far all we've done is tack our profiles down to a couple of what you would call flat bar that we just cut out of the same material. Because we already had the sheet. I didn't want to buy anything additional for this, so it didn't cost us a whole lot. But we just got a couple more to cut out and we're about to start doing some fun stuff. Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
The Walmart clamps actually work all right. So I really want these to line up, but I have to weld it while I hold it. And since I don't have 3 hands, I'm going to use a brake caliper separator and a couple of blocks. Here. That looks pretty good. Mechanical advantage, not bad, right? So the clamp trick that I use on the end won't work in the middle. We have about almost an 1/8 inch lip here. But I cut a clamp in half, you might call it a half clamp, and you just weld it to the piece that you want to pick up, and then you put a little pressure on it, and then it'll break the weld that you did. All right, I have welded it a little bit more aggressively. We're gonna try this again. Ooh, you can hear some groans. So we gotta cut a little profile here. So this is our intake scoop. And this flap is gonna kind of prevent stuff from coming out as the ashes build up in the bottom. But we gotta figure out what size of piece we're putting in here. So we're gonna use some CAD, some cardboard aided design. And we need exactly this size piece. So we're just gonna trace this out onto the metal and cut it out, and it should fit just like the cardboard does. Pretty neat little trick. I see why engineers use CAD. Do it. So this is supposed to be a self-feeding rocket stove. So what you do is you put your stuff in here, there's a fire at the bottom, and theoretically there's a little grate in here that holds everything from falling all the way through. And so the air rushing around that heats it up and it comes out the top. So you can cook, do whatever you want to do. So what we need to do now is we need to make the grate. So I'm going to assemble the rough structure, and if it fits right, then we're going to make slats that go across it for stopping stuff from falling through. So next we're going to make a flap with a hinge. So to make the hinge, we got to have some tubing. We got to have something that fits inside of the tubing pretty nicely. It doesn't have to be that tight, but this will work pretty good. So we're going to segment this And then we're gonna weld the segments alternating from flap to base, and then we'll have a hinge.
I want to go over here.
So, although this was a lot of fun, typically there's 3 different ways to do a project. The right way, the wrong way, and the strange garage way, which is just the wrong way, but it takes way longer. There's a reason people typically do these out of just square tubing and they just miter it, because that's so much faster and easier, a lot less cutting wheels. But now that we're done, I think it's time for a test fire. Wow, this project was a lot of fun. It was really time consuming, and I actually went through 12 cutoff discs on my grinder. So I definitely recommend going the route of just using square tubing. It's going to save you a whole lot of time. I'm not upset that I made this one, but I would definitely do it differently if I had to start over. But hopefully this video is going to help you with your project. And thanks always for doing your part to help make this world a strange place.
This is the best dinner ever. Bacon and Friday.
Ooh, that's hot. Definitely works.
Yep.
Pretty cool project.